I found the phone on a Tuesday. Not hidden in some elaborate spy movie way. Just sitting there in the center console of his car, underneath the gas station receipt. I was looking for my sunglasses. That's the thing that kills me. I wasn't even snooping. I was just living my normal, boring, Tuesday afternoon life. The phone was old. A flip phone, the kind nobody uses anymore unless they're a drug dealer or having an affair. I laughed when I saw it. Actually laughed. Because my husband Jake is a software engineer who owns 3 iPads and complains when his phone is more than a year old. Why would he have this dinosaur? I opened it. There were 17 text messages from a contact saved as M. Are you coming home tonight? Emma has a recital. Please don't forget milk. The baby is almost out of formula. I love you. Drive safe. I sat in that car in our driveway for 20 minutes reading those messages. Then I read them again. Then I threw up in the cup holder. Emma. Baby. Formula. We have 3 kids. Olivia is 12. Mason is 9. Hannah is 6. Our baby isn't a baby anymore. Hannah hasn't needed formula in 5 years. I called the number. A woman answered on the second ring. Her voice was warm, tired. Mom voice. I know that voice because I have that voice. Hey babe, are you close? Emma's getting anxious and you know how she gets before. Who is this? I asked. Silence. Long, suffocating silence. Who is this? She asked back, but her voice had changed. It was sharp now. Afraid. I'm calling from Jake's phone. Jake Patterson. Who are you? More silence. Then, I'm his wife. I laughed. It came out like a bark. No. I'm his wife. We've been married for 12 years. We have 3 kids. We have a mortgage and a golden retriever and... We've been married for 11 years, she said quietly. We have 2 kids. Emma is 7. Lily just turned 2. The line went dead. I don't remember walking into the house. I don't remember the next hour. When I came back to myself, I was sitting on our kitchen floor holding our wedding album. Our wedding. The one where he promised to love only me. Where my dad walked me down the aisle and cried. Where his mom gave me her grandmother's ring. Jake came home at 6:47 p.m. Same as always. He kissed my forehead. Same as always. Asked what was for dinner. Same as always. I put the phone on the counter between us. He looked at it. Looked at me. And his face did something I'd never seen before. It crumpled, like paper being crushed in a fist. How long have you known? He asked. Not it's not what you think. Not I can explain. Just, how long have you known? About 3 hours, I said. My voice sounded like it was coming from underwater. How long have you been living a double life? 12 years, he said. Since right after Olivia was born. The floor disappeared. 12 years. Our entire marriage, every anniversary, every vacation, every Christmas morning. Every time I was pregnant while another woman was pregnant with his child. Every time he said he had to work late or go on a business trip. Every time he told me he loved me. All of it. Every single moment. A lie. Where is she? I asked. Riverside. The next town over. 23 minutes away. I'd driven through it 1,000 times. Does she know about me? He shook his head. She thinks she's my only wife. I told her I travel for work. She thinks I'm gone 3 or 4 days a week for my job. And what did you tell me? That I work long hours. That I have projects. His voice broke. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Olivia came downstairs then. My beautiful 12-year-old daughter with her father's eyes. She looked between us, sensing something wrong in that way kids always do. Mom? Dad? What's going on? I looked at Jake. At this man I built a life with. This stranger. Go back upstairs, sweetie, I said. We're just talking. She hesitated, then left. Her footsteps on the stairs sounded too loud. I need you to leave, I told Jake. We need to talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. You have another wife. You have other children. You've been lying to me every single day for 12 years. Get out of my house. It's my house too. Get out. He left. I waited until I heard his car pull away. Then I called the number again. She answered immediately. Please don't call this number again. We need to talk, I said. Face to face. Both of us deserve to know the truth. I can't. I have kids here and I don't. So do I. I have 3 kids sleeping upstairs who are about to find out their entire life is a lie. Meet me tomorrow. please. She was quiet for a long time. Then, coffee shop on Main Street in Riverside. 10 a.m. She hung up. I stayed on the kitchen floor until morning. At some point I heard Olivia's alarm go off. Heard her get ready for school. Heard her come downstairs and stop when she saw me. Mom? I'm okay, baby, I lied. Just had a rough night. Go ahead and catch the bus. I'll pick you up after school. She left. Then Mason and Hannah followed the same routine. My babies. My whole world. And they had no idea it was ending. At 9:45 a.m., I drove to Riverside. I'd been through this town hundreds of times and never known my husband had a whole other life here. Another home. Other children calling him daddy. Another woman kissing him goodnight. The coffee shop was small, the kind with local art on the walls and mismatched chairs. I saw her immediately. She looked like me. Not physically, she was blonde where I am brunette, shorter, younger by maybe 5 years. But she had the same tired mom posture. The same worn-out jeans and oversized cardigan. The same wedding ring. I sat down across from her. I'm Amanda, I said. Morgan. We stared at each other. Two women who'd loved the same man. Two women who'd been living half a life without knowing it. Tell me everything, I said. Morgan ordered a coffee she didn't drink. I ordered nothing. We sat across from each other like wounded animals circling, trying to figure out who was predator and who was prey. Turns out we were both prey. We met at a conference, she started. Her voice was hollow. September 2013. He told me he was divorced. That his ex-wife had full custody of his daughter and he only saw her on weekends. That the divorce had been brutal and he didn't like to talk about it. Olivia was too. I was pregnant with Mason. He was charming, Morgan continued. Attentive. He called when he said he would. He showed up. After my ex, who couldn't even remember my birthday, Jake felt like a miracle. I wanted to hate her. God, I wanted to hate her so badly. But she was crying the same tears I'd cried on my kitchen floor. When did you get married? I asked. June 2014. Small ceremony. His family couldn't come, he said they didn't approve of him remarrying so quickly. My family was there though. My parents walked me down the aisle. Her laugh was broken. My dad gave a toast about how Jake was the kind of man who shows up. Who keeps his promises. Mason was 6 months old when Jake married another woman. Emmett came in 2017, Morgan said. He was so excited. So present during the pregnancy. He came to every appointment he could, brought me ice cream at midnight, painted the nursery. She looked at me. Was he like that with you? Yes. The word tasted like poison. With all three. 3, she repeated. God. 3. Olivia is 12. Mason is 9. Hannah is 6. Morgan's face went white. Hannah is 6? Lily just turned 2. That means when I was pregnant with Lily. He was sleeping with both of us. Coming home to both of us. Playing father to 5 children. She put her head in her hands. I don't understand how. The logistics alone. That's what I keep thinking about, I said. The planning it must have taken. The calendar management. The lies stacked on lies. How did he remember which kid had which event? Which wife knew what? Where he was supposed to be and when? He has 2 phones, Morgan said. I thought he just kept work and personal separate. He was always so strict about it, never let me touch his work phone. He told me the same thing. We sat in silence. Around us, people ordered lattes and worked on laptops. Normal people living normal, single lives. How did he afford it? Morgan asked suddenly. 2 households? 2 families? He makes good money. 6 figures. But now I'm thinking about all the times he said we needed to budget. That we couldn't afford a bigger vacation or a renovation. Meanwhile he bought us a house last year, Morgan whispered. Said he'd gotten a promotion. 4 bedrooms. I thought we were finally stable. My stomach turned. We refinanced last year. He said it was to pay off debt. I signed papers. I trusted him. I trusted him too. Morgan's voice cracked. I trusted him completely. When Emma had night terrors, he'd stay up with her for hours. When my mom was sick, he drove her to appointments. He coaches Lily's T-ball team. He's not some absent father, he's there. He's present. How can someone be present in 2 places at once? I don't know. Where is he now? She asked. I don't know. He left last night. Probably a hotel. He's not with me. Morgan pulled out her phone. I told him not to come home. that I needed space to think. What are you going to do? She looked at me with empty eyes. What are you going to do? I didn't have an answer. My phone buzzed. A text from Olivia. Mom, where are you? School called and said you're late picking up Hannah from kindergarten. I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten my 6-year-old daughter because I was sitting in a coffee shop with my husband's other wife learning about my husband's other children. I have to go, I said, standing. Wait. Morgan grabbed my wrist. Can we exchange numbers? I think we need to stay in contact. Figure this out together. I saved her number. She saved mine. We were trauma bonded now, linked forever by the same man's betrayal. I drove home too fast. Hannah was in the principal's office with her teacher, playing with blocks and humming. She smiled when she saw me, that gap-toothed smile that usually made my whole day. Mama, you forgot me. I'm so sorry, baby. Mama had a very bad morning. On the drive home, she chatted about her day. About how Cooper ate glue and the teacher had to call his mom. About how she got a gold star for her drawing. Normal 6-year-old things. She had no idea that in a few hours, her father would destroy everything. Because he was coming over at 6. We'd agreed via text. Him, me, the kids. He wanted to talk to them together. Olivia and Mason got home. I made them snacks I knew they wouldn't eat. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped the peanut butter jar. It shattered on the kitchen floor. Mom? Olivia was suddenly next to me. Mom, what's wrong? You're scaring me. I looked at my daughter. My firstborn. The one who made me a mother. She was 12, old enough to understand, young enough that this would reshape her entire concept of family, of trust, of love. Your dad and I need to talk to you guys, I said. All 3 of you. Together. Are you getting divorced? The question hit like a slap. Why would you ask that? You've been weird for 2 days. Dad didn't come home last night, he heard you on the phone. And you look like you've been crying. She crossed her arms. I'm not stupid. I know you're not stupid. You're so smart it terrifies me sometimes. So are you? Yes. The word hung between us. Olivia's face crumpled, aged 10 years in a second. She was a little girl again, my baby, and I couldn't protect her from this. Is it because of Dad? She asked. Yes. Did he cheat? I wanted to lie. To soften it. To give her a gentler version. But she deserved the truth. It's complicated, honey. More complicated than that. Jake arrived at 6 exactly. Always punctual. Always reliable. That was the sick joke. He'd been reliable to 2 families for over a decade. We sat them down in the living room. Mason and Hannah on the couch, Olivia in the armchair. Jake and I stood because sitting felt too casual, too normal. Your mom and I have something to tell you, Jake started. You're getting divorced, Olivia said flatly. We know. Yes. But there's more. Jake looked at me. I nodded. He had to say it. He had to own this. I've made some very serious mistakes, he continued. Mistakes that hurt your mom and that are going to hurt you. I've been lying for a long time about where I go and what I do. With another woman? Mason asked. 9 years old and already putting pieces together. Yes. With another woman. And, his voice broke. And I have other children. With her. Silence. Mason looked confused. Hannah was drawing on her hand with marker, not really listening. But Olivia stood up. You have other kids? Her voice was ice. Yes. How many? 2. Emma is 7. Lily is 2. And you've been, what? Playing dad to them? While you're supposed to be at work? Yes. Olivia looked at me. Did you know? I found out yesterday. So for our entire lives, Dad's been lying? About everything? Yes, Jake said. Olivia walked over to him. My tall, brave daughter who got her height from her father's side. She looked him in the eye. I hate you, she said. I will never forgive you for this. Then she went upstairs. Her door slammed hard enough to rattle the pictures on the wall. Mason started crying. Silent tears running down his face. Do they know about us? Emma and Lily? Not yet. But they will soon. Do we have to meet them? I don't know, buddy. That's something we'll have to figure out. Hannah finally looked up. Daddy, are you leaving? I'm not going to live here anymore, princess. Because you have other kids you like better? Hannah got up and came to me, wrapped herself around my legs. I want Daddy to leave now. Okay, baby. Jake, I said. You need to go. He left. For the second time in 2 days, I watched my husband walk out of our house. But this time, my children watched too. I got Hannah to bed. She cried herself to sleep asking if Daddy stopped loving us. Mason locked himself in his room and wouldn't talk. Olivia didn't come out at all. At midnight, I sat alone in the living room with my phone. I had 43 missed calls. From Jake. From my mother. From Morgan. From numbers I didn't recognize, probably reporters. Somehow word was already getting out. One voicemail from my mom. Amanda, honey, I'm seeing things on Facebook. Please call me. Please tell me it's not true. Of course. Social media. Someone must have found out. Small town, big scandal. I opened Facebook. My wall was full of comments, tags, messages. Screenshots of Jake's other Facebook profile, the one where he was married to Morgan. Photos of him with Emma and Lily. Photos from their wedding. Someone had made a comparison post. Left side, Jake and me at our wedding. Right side, Jake and Morgan at theirs. Same smile. Same pose. Different woman. The comments were brutal. I always knew something was off about him. Poor Amanda. And those kids. How does someone even do this? My husband knows his colleague. Apparently Jake's been stealing money from the company too. That last one made me stop. Stealing money? I called Morgan. She answered immediately. Did you see Facebook? Yeah. Did you see the comment about him stealing from work? I called his office. Or tried to. Turns out he was fired 3 weeks ago. For embezzlement. The room spun. What? He's been taking money from company accounts for years. They finally caught him. He was supposed to be in meetings with lawyers, working out a deal to avoid criminal charges. But he's been going to work. Every day. No, Morgan said. He's been going somewhere else. I don't know where. How much did he take? $250,000. I couldn't breathe. We're going to lose everything. The house, the savings. Me too, Morgan said. Everything's in his name. He said it was better for taxes. We've both been so stupid. So trusting. So completely, devastatingly blind. There's more, Morgan said. Her voice was shaking. I did some digging. Made some calls. Amanda, we're not the only ones. What? There's a third woman. In Portland. He has a 1-year-old with her. The phone slipped from my hand. I picked it up with numb fingers. How many? I whispered. How many families? I don't know, Morgan said. I don't know if we'll ever know. I hung up. Went to the bathroom. Threw up until there was nothing left. Then I went into my bedroom, the bedroom I'd shared with Jake for 12 years, and I started packing his things into garbage bags. Every shirt. Every pair of shoes. Every photo of us together. I threw it all down the stairs in a pile. At 3 a.m., I dragged the bags outside and set them by the curb. Then I changed the locks. By morning, the bags were gone. Taken by neighbors or Jake or strangers, I didn't care. My phone rang. Jake's mother. Amanda, honey, I need you to know that we had no idea. I hung up on her. Called back. Did you know? I asked. About what? Any of it. Morgan. The other kids. The money. Silence. Did you know? We suspected something was wrong, she said quietly. A few years ago. But Jake promised it was nothing. That everything was fine. We wanted to believe him. You wanted to believe him, I repeated. Your son was living a triple life and bankrupting 2 families and you wanted to believe him. We're so sorry. I hung up. Everyone was sorry. Everyone suspected. Everyone wanted to believe. But nobody did anything. And now 5 kids had a father who was a stranger. 2 women had marriages that never existed. And I had 12 years of memories that were all contaminated, all ruined, all lies. I looked at my wedding ring. The one his grandmother wore. The one his mother passed down. I tried to pull it off but my hands were too swollen from crying. So I got soap from the kitchen. Worked it over my knuckle. The ring came off with a pop. I stood at the kitchen sink holding this tiny circle of gold that had meant everything and now meant nothing. Then I dropped it down the garbage disposal and turned it on. The grinding sound woke Hannah. She came downstairs in her unicorn pajamas, rubbing her eyes. Mama? What was that noise? I looked at my baby girl. My youngest. The one who would barely remember life before this. Nothing, sweetie, I said. Just taking out the trash. The lawyer's office smelled like leather and expensive cologne. Everything was mahogany and glass, designed to look powerful and trustworthy. I sat across from a woman named Patricia who'd handled complex family cases for 20 years. She'd seen everything, she said. But even she looked unsettled reading through my file. So let me make sure I understand, Patricia said. Your husband maintained 3 separate households. 3 marriages, though only one is legally binding. 6 children total. He embezzled $250,000 from his employer. He's been unemployed for 3 weeks but neither you nor the other women knew. And he's currently missing. Missing? According to the information Morgan provided, no one has seen or heard from Jake in 4 days. Not since you both confronted him. His phone goes straight to voicemail. His credit cards haven't been used. He's vanished. My chest tightened. Part of me, the part that had loved him for 12 years, felt panic. What if something happened to him? What if he hurt himself? But the bigger part, the part that was learning to survive, thought, good. Let him disappear. Let him feel what it's like to have your entire existence erased. What does that mean for the divorce? I asked. It complicates things. We can file regardless, but without his signature and presence, it'll take longer. The financial situation is worse. With the embezzlement charges, his assets will likely be frozen or seized. The house, the savings accounts, anything in his name is at risk. The house is in both our names. That helps. But if the company sues for damages, they can come after shared assets. You need to protect yourself financially. Immediately. I thought about my children asleep at home. About Olivia, who hadn't spoken to me in 3 days except to ask for meal money. About Mason, who'd started wetting the bed again at 9 years old. About Hannah, who kept asking when Daddy was coming back. How do I do that? Patricia walked me through it. Separate bank accounts. Document everything. Keep records of every expense. File for emergency custody. Get a restraining order if needed. It felt like preparing for war. Maybe that's what divorce is, a war where the casualties are everyone involved. There's one more thing, Patricia said carefully. The media attention. This story is unusual. I've already had 3 journalists call asking for comments. You need to decide how you want to handle that. I don't want to handle it. I want to disappear. That's not an option anymore. Your husband's crimes are public record. The multiple families make it sensational. People are going to talk whether you participate or not. The question is whether you want to control your own narrative. I left her office feeling more exhausted than when I arrived. My phone had 62 new notifications. Most were from people I barely knew offering thoughts and prayers and I'm here if you need anything, the kind of hollow support that means nothing when your life is imploding. One message was from Morgan. Can we meet? Please. I need to talk to someone who understands. We met at a park between our towns. Neutral territory. She brought coffee for both of us. She'd remembered how I took mine from our first meeting. That small gesture of kindness made me want to cry. I found something, Morgan said. She pulled out a stack of papers from her bag. Jake had a storage unit. I found the key in his desk. I went there yesterday. What was in it? Documents. Years of them. Bank statements, receipts, planning notes. Amanda, he had spreadsheets. Color-coded calendars. Budgets for each family. He planned this. Every detail. She handed me a laminated chart. It was labeled December 2024. 3 columns, Amanda, Morgan, and a third name, Claire. The Portland woman. The one with the 1-year-old. Look at December 25th, Morgan said. I looked. 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., Amanda's house. Christmas morning with Olivia, Mason, Hannah. 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., Morgan's house. Christmas afternoon with Emma, Lily. 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., Claire's apartment. Late night visit, gifts for baby. He'd scheduled Christmas. 3 families, 1 day, perfectly timed. I remember that day, I said. My voice sounded far away. He was there for presents. For breakfast. He played with the kids. Then he said he had to check on a work emergency. He left at 1:45. I laughed bitterly. I thought he was so dedicated. Working on Christmas. He hid a bag of presents in the trunk, Morgan said. Wrapped and labeled. For all of us. He's been doing this for years. I looked through more pages. Birthday schedules. School event calendars. Vacation rotations. He'd even color-coded our menstrual cycles so he knew when he could reasonably avoid intimacy with one family versus another. He treated us like a project, I said. Like we were something to manage and optimize. There's something else. Morgan pulled out another folder. Life insurance policies. He has one for each family. 2 million each. Beneficiaries are the kids. Why would he? I think he was planning to die, Morgan said quietly. Or fake his death. Look at the dates. He increased the policies 3 months ago. Right after the embezzlement investigation started. The implications settled over us like ash. Jake had been planning his exit. Leave 3 families with insurance money and no husband. Disappear completely. Start over somewhere else, maybe. We need to tell the police, I said. I already did. They're looking for him. But Amanda, Morgan's voice cracked. What if he already did it? What if he's dead and we're sitting here hating him while his body is somewhere? Don't. I grabbed her hand. Don't do that to yourself. He doesn't deserve your worry. He's still the father of my children. So is mine. And that's the worst part. Our kids are going to grow up knowing their father chose this. Chose to split himself into pieces rather than just be honest. Chose to lie to 6 children every single day. We sat in silence watching other families at the park. Normal families. Moms pushing strollers. Dads playing catch. Kids laughing on swings. Everything we thought we had. Emma asked me yesterday if you're her stepmom, Morgan said. What did you tell her? I didn't know what to say. I told her you're someone important who loves her daddy too. She asked if she could meet you. Meet her half-siblings. My stomach clenched. I don't think we're ready for that. When will we be ready? Our kids are going to be in each other's lives forever now. They're siblings. Half-siblings, but still. Olivia won't even talk to me about her own father. I can't imagine asking her to meet his other children. Maybe that's what she needs though. To see them. To understand this wasn't about her not being enough. She's 12. She thinks everything is about her. That's how 12 works. Morgan looked at me. My therapist said something yesterday. She said the only way through this is radical honesty. With ourselves, with each other, with the kids. No more secrets. I've had enough honesty for a lifetime. Have you? Morgan's voice was sharp. Because I've been thinking, how did we not know? For years? How did I miss every sign? There were no signs. He was careful. There were signs. We just didn't want to see them. She pulled out her phone. I made a list. All the things that didn't add up but I explained away. The times his stories changed. The credit card charges from places he said he'd never been down, the way he always showered immediately when he came home. The burner phone I found once that he said was for work. I believed him every time because I wanted to believe him. Don't do this to yourself. Why not? I'm doing it anyway. Every night. Replaying every conversation, every moment, wondering what I missed. You missed nothing. He was a professional liar. But I'm supposed to know my husband. I slept next to him for 11 years. How could I not know? I didn't have an answer because I was asking myself the same question. 12 years. 4,000 days. How many times had he lied? How many times had I looked into his eyes and seen love when all that was there was calculation? My phone rang. Olivia. Mom, you need to come home. Now. What's wrong? There are news vans outside. Reporters knocking on the door. They're asking Mason questions through the window. I ran to my car. Morgan followed. We drove back in tandem, 2 women bound together by the same betrayal, racing to protect our children from the fallout. There were 4 news vans outside my house. Reporters with cameras. My neighbors standing in their yards watching. Olivia had locked all the doors and closed the curtains, but I could see Mason's face in the upstairs window. He looked terrified. I pushed through the reporters. They shouted questions. Mrs. Patterson, did you know about the other families? How long had the affair been going on? Is it true your husband embezzled money to support multiple women? What do you want to say to the other wives? I got inside and slammed the door. Olivia was crying. Mason was hyperventilating. Hannah was hiding under the kitchen table. It's okay, I said. It's okay. They can't come in. We're safe. Everyone knows, Olivia sobbed. Everyone at school knows. They're texting me. Making memes about Dad. About us. She showed me her phone. Screenshots of Jake's Facebook profile side by side. Photos of our family with captions like, when you're so bad at relationships you have to practice on multiple families, and plot twist, he was the side piece in his own life. Teenagers are cruel. The internet is crueler. Give me your phone, I said. No. Olivia, please. No. This is my life too. I can't just hide from it. You're 12 years old. You don't need to see this. I'm not a baby. She was screaming now. Stop treating me like I'm too young to understand. My father is a liar. My family is fake. My entire life is a joke that people are sharing online. I understand perfectly. She threw her phone. It hit the wall and shattered. Then she collapsed. Just folded in on herself on the floor, sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe. I held her. My firstborn baby. My daughter who thought she was too old to be held. She clung to me like she was drowning. It hurts, she gasped. Mom, it hurts so bad. I know, baby. I know. Mason came downstairs. He was carrying his baseball glove, the one Jake had given him for his birthday. He walked to the trash can and threw it away. I don't want anything from him, Mason said quietly. Can we throw it all away? Everything he ever gave us? Honey, please. I don't want his stuff in our house. So we did it. All 3 kids and me. We went through the house and gathered everything Jake related. His photos. His gifts. His clothes that were still in the closet. His favorite coffee mug. His books. His tools in the garage. We piled it all in the driveway. Hannah brought her stuffed bear, the one Jake had given her when she was born. She'd slept with it every night for 6 years. She set it on top of the pile. I don't need it anymore, she said. I have you, Mama. The reporters filmed everything. I didn't care. Let them film. Let the whole world see what Jake Patterson did to his family. That night, after I got the kids to bed, all 3 of them sleeping in my room because they were scared, I sat in the dark scrolling through messages. One was from Jake's sister. We're praying for you and the kids. We're so ashamed of what Jake did. If there's anything we can do. One was from my college roommate. I always thought he was too good to be true. Trust your gut next time. One was from Morgan. Emma won't stop crying. She keeps asking if you hate her. If your kids hate her. One was from a number I didn't recognize. This is Claire. From Portland. We need to talk. I called her. A young woman answered. Mid-20s, maybe. A baby crying in the background. I'm Amanda, I said. I know. I've seen you on the news. Her voice was shaking. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. He told me he was divorced. That he had kids but they lived with their mom. I never would have. How old are you, Claire? 24. 24. I was 24 when I married Jake. He'd found the same type 3 times, young enough to be manipulated, old enough to have babies. How did you meet? I asked. He was my professor. Junior year of college. I know how that sounds but it wasn't like that. Or I thought it wasn't. He waited until after I graduated. Made it feel like he was being respectful. She laughed bitterly. I was so stupid. You weren't stupid. You were 21 and he was 43. He knew exactly what he was doing. My son, Claire whispered. Liam. He's 13 months old. What am I supposed to tell him about his father? The truth. When he's old enough. That his father was sick. That he hurt people. That it wasn't Liam's fault. Is that what you're telling your kids? I don't know what I'm telling my kids. They're asking questions I don't have answers for. I found a photo album, Claire said. At Jake's apartment here. It had pictures of all of us. All the kids. You and Morgan and me. He'd been collecting photos of everyone. Making this secret family scrapbook. The thought made my skin crawl. Where is it? I burned it. I took it to the park and burned every page. Good. We stayed on the phone in silence. 2 strangers connected by a man who destroyed us both. The police called me, Claire finally said. They think he's in Mexico. Someone saw him cross the border 4 days ago. Mexico. Of course. Far enough to disappear, close enough to come back if he needed. They'll extradite him, I said. For the embezzlement charges. I hope they never find him, Claire said. I hope he disappears forever and we never have to see his face again. But then our kids won't have closure. Our kids will never have closure. Not really. This is the kind of thing that breaks people permanently. She was right. I could already see it in Olivia's eyes. The way she looked at me now, like she was waiting for me to betray her too. Like trust was impossible and everyone was lying. Mason had started asking me to promise things. Promise you're telling the truth. Promise you'll be here tomorrow. Promise you won't leave. Every statement required a promise now. Hannah had nightmares every night about losing me. About waking up and being alone. This was their inheritance from their father. Trauma and trust issues and the knowledge that people you love can destroy you. After I hung up with Claire, I went to check on the kids. They were all in my bed, dangled together like puppies. Olivia had her arm around Hannah. Mason was holding Olivia's hand even in sleep. They'd lost their father but they still had each other. And they had me. I climbed into bed with them. 4 people where there used to be 5. We'd learned to be enough. We had to. My phone buzzed one more time. A text from a number that made my blood run cold. Jake. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything. But I need you to know I loved you. All of you. That was real. I stared at the message. Felt rage build in my chest like a fire. I typed back, you don't get to do this. You don't get to disappear and then text from wherever you're hiding asking for forgiveness. You destroyed 6 children. You destroyed 3 women. You stole years of our lives. Your love was the most expensive thing any of us ever bought, and we were all paying for it now. He didn't respond. I blocked the number. Then I deleted every photo of him from my phone. Every text. Every email. 12 years of digital history gone in minutes. Olivia stirred in her sleep. Mom? I'm here, baby. Promise? Promise. She settled back into sleep. I stayed awake watching my children breathe, wondering how we'd survive this. But we would survive. That was the thing Jake hadn't counted on. He'd assumed we'd crumble without him. That we'd fall apart and need him to hold us together. He was wrong. 3 weeks later, Jake was arrested in Cabo San Lucas. Extradited back to face embezzlement charges. The news showed footage of him in handcuffs, looking small and old and nothing like the man I'd married. Olivia watched the news with me. Do you still love him? She asked. I love who I thought he was. But that person never existed. Do you think he'll go to jail? Probably. Good. Her voice was ice. I hope he rots there. She was 12 and talking about her father rotting in prison. This was what Jake had done. Turned his daughter's love into hatred. The trial was fast. Jake pleaded guilty to avoid a longer sentence. 3 years in federal prison. Restitution to the company. Mandatory therapy. 3 years for destroying 3 families. 1 year per family. The math was insulting. Morgan and I sat in the courtroom together. Claire didn't come. She'd moved back to Portland with her parents, trying to start over. When the judge asked if we wanted to make victim impact statements, Morgan declined. I stood up. My name is Amanda Patterson. I was married to the defendant for 12 years. We have 3 children together. I want the court to know that Jake Patterson didn't just embezzle money. He embezzled our lives. He stole time we can never get back. He stole our ability to trust. He stole our children's innocence and sense of safety. 3 years in prison feels like a gift compared to the lifetime sentence he gave us. Jake looked at me then. Really looked at me. His eyes were wet. I didn't care. The worst part wasn't that he'd cheated. Wasn't that he'd lied. Wasn't even that he'd stolen money. The worst part was that he'd made me doubt everything. Every memory, every moment, every I love you. He'd poisoned the past and demolished the future and left me standing in rubble wondering what was ever real. That night, I took off the engagement ring I'd been wearing on a chain around my neck, couldn't bring myself to fully let go yet. I drove to the river. And I threw it as far as I could into the dark water. It made a small splash and disappeared. Just like that. 12 years of marriage, gone. I stood there for a long time, waiting to feel something. Relief. Closure. Anger. But all I felt was empty. I drove home to my children. To Olivia, who was learning to trust again slowly. To Mason, who'd stopped needing promises with every sentence. To Hannah, who'd started sleeping in her own bed some nights. We were surviving. Barely, some days. But surviving. Morgan and I had coffee once a week now. Our kids had met, awkward and painful, but necessary. They were siblings, after all. Half-siblings who shared a father and a trauma. Claire sent photos of Liam sometimes. Updates on his milestones. We were connected now forever, the 3 of us. Not friends exactly. But survivors of the same disaster. People asked me sometimes if I'd ever date again. Trust again. Love again. I didn't know. Some days I thought maybe. Some days I knew better. The story made national news for a while. Manjuckle's 3 families for over a decade read the headlines. We were a cautionary tale. A Reddit post. A podcast episode. The triple life of Jake Patterson. People picked apart every detail. Analyzed what red flags we missed. Debated whether we should have known. Turned our trauma into entertainment. I stopped reading the comments. 6 months after Jake went to prison, Olivia came to me with her phone. Dad's been writing letters, she said. To all of us. The prison forwards them to Morgan and she's been giving them to Emma. Should we read them? I looked at the stack of envelopes. Jake's handwriting. His words. His attempts at apology from behind bars. That's up to you, I said. All of you. I can't make that choice. Mason immediately said no. Hannah was too young to decide. Olivia hesitated. What if he explains why? She asked. What if reading them helps? Or it might hurt more. Everything hurts already. She opened the first letter. I watched her read. Watched her face cycle through emotions, anger, sadness, confusion. When she finished, she handed it to me. The letter was full of excuses and justifications. How he'd felt trapped. How the lies snowballed. How he never meant to hurt anyone. How he loved us all. He still doesn't get it, Olivia said. He thinks if he explains his reasons, we'll understand. But there's no good reason for what he did. No, there isn't. She ripped the letter in half. Then in half again. Let the pieces fall like snow. I don't need to read the rest, she said. I already know everything I need to know about who he is. My 12-year-old daughter. Wiser than she should have to be. That night, I burned the rest of the letters in the fireplace. Watched Jake's words turn to ash. Then I sat with my children and we made a new plan. A new life. Just the four of us. No more secrets. No more lies. No more waiting for the other shoe to drop. Just us. Broken but together. Surviving. It's been 2 years now since I found that phone. Olivia is 14. She's in therapy and doing okay. Some days are harder than others. She has a boyfriend who treats her well and it terrifies me, watching her learn to trust again while I still can't. Mason is 11. He plays baseball still, but wouldn't let me tell Jake about his games. He's learning that not everyone lies. Slowly. Hannah is 8. She barely remembers the before times. Sometimes I think that's a mercy. Morgan and I are friends now. Real friends. Our kids do joint birthdays sometimes. It's weird and complicated and not what anyone would choose. But it's real. Claire moved to Portland permanently. I've never met Liam. Maybe someday. Jake gets out next year. I've already planned what I'll say when he tries to contact us. When he asks for forgiveness or a relationship with his kids. The answer is no. Some things can't be forgiven. Some damage is permanent. People tell me I'm strong for surviving this. For keeping my family together. For not falling apart. But I did fall apart. Completely. I'm just good at hiding the cracks. Late at night, when the kids are asleep, I still sometimes wonder if I missed signs. If I was stupid or blind or willfully ignorant. I check my current partner's phone sometimes. I hate that I do it. I hate that Jake took my ability to trust and destroyed it so thoroughly I can't even enjoy a healthy relationship without suspicion. That's his real legacy. Not the lie. Not the betrayal. The permanent damage. The way he rewired my brain to expect deception. To see threats where there are none. To never fully believe anyone again. I went on one date last year. Nice guy. Teacher. Widowed. We had coffee. He mentioned he'd traveled a lot for work in his previous career. I immediately asked to see his passport. To verify where he'd been. He looked at me like I was insane. I left. Went home. Cried for 3 hours. Because Jake didn't just destroy one marriage. He destroyed my ability to ever have another. And that's what nobody tells you about betrayal this deep. It doesn't just end the relationship. It ends future relationships. It ends your ability to trust your own judgment. It ends the version of yourself who believed in people. Some days I miss her. The woman I was before I found that phone. The one who thought her marriage was solid and her husband was faithful and her life was real. She was naive. But she was happy. Now I'm awake. But waking up meant learning that everything I believed was fiction. So when people ask if I regret finding out, if I wish I'd stayed ignorant, I don't know how to answer. Because yes. And no. And it doesn't matter because you can't unknow what you know. The phone sits in a box in my closet now. Evidence for the divorce that finalized last year. I should throw it away but I can't. It's proof that I'm not crazy. That this happened. That my instinct to look in the car that day saved me from years more of lies. Sometimes Olivia asks if I think Dad ever really loved us. I tell her yes. Because the alternative, that he faked love convincingly for over a decade to 6 children and 3 women, is too horrible to accept. But late at night, I wonder. Can you really love someone you're actively destroying? Is it love if it's divided into thirds? Is it love if it requires an elaborate calendar system to maintain? I don't have answers. What I have is 3 kids who are learning that family isn't about biology or lies or perfect fathers. It's about showing up, being honest, staying even when it's hard. What I have is a life I'm rebuilding one day at a time. What I have is the knowledge that I survived something that should have destroyed me. But mostly what I have is the certainty that I'll never fully trust anyone again. And that's the real ending to this story. Not that the liar got caught. Not that justice was served. Not that we all moved on and healed. But that some wounds don't heal. They just scar. And you learn to live with the scar tissue, even though it makes every movement a little harder, every breath a little shallower, every attempt at love a little more terrifying. Jake took 12 years of my life. But the real theft was what he took from my future, the ability to believe that forever is possible, that people mean what they say, that love is something more than a carefully constructed lie. I thought I knew everything about my husband. Turns out, I knew nothing at all. And now I know too much about everyone, see threats everywhere, trust no one completely. That's the cost of loving someone who was secretly 3 different